Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Important in all things in beauty. Welcome to RadioAMB, designed for those who want to live a long and vibrant life. I'm Patty Schmucker, your host, and someone who's been in the beauty industry for now over 40 years. RadioAMB, which stands for American Made Beauty, is designed to tell the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our program sponsor today is Free Your Mane. That's spelled M-A-N-E, and you can find Free Your Mane on the internet at freeyourmane.com or in Anthropologie stores. Today, my guest is a man that I had the privilege of meeting over 20 years ago and became one of my trusted resources in developing one of the most successful professional distribution selling teams in the history of the beauty industry. Let me put this into context for our listeners. In the beauty industry, salon and spas buy goods from professional distributor salespeople who bring them products and often offer some form of education. As many of you know, during my early career, I became the second largest Aveda distributor in the U.S. with a sales team in Southern California, Arizona, and Nevada. Our success happened because we reinvented the way we brought education to salon professionals. We helped salon professionals understand how to better serve their clients. If you're a consumer, say, age 40 or older, you might remember going into an exclusive Aveda salon and experiencing a level of service unlike other salons. The results were so effective that while most salons at the time made single-digit profits at the end of each year, Aveda salons in the areas covered by my sales team on average made double-digit profits, unheard of in the industry. At the heart of this success was an amazing team, and the man you're about to meet is one of those pioneers. You see, Jim Yates is president and CEO of a company called Nuts and Bolts. He's an author, a lecturer, an expert in change management. Jim is on the cutting edge of schools and salon business development practices, and as such is considered by many owners as a key factor in those business successes. As a former salon, chain, and prestige school owner, he's committed to education. Before starting Nuts and Bolts, Jim devoted his time to growing day spa business as director of education with the world's largest spa operation company. Jim teaches there's no magic formulas, just good business practice. Jim formed Nuts and Bolts Training Company in 2003, and since that time, the growing list of member schools that have introduced Nuts and Bolts student training programs to thousands of students, service providers across the United States. Proponents of Nuts and Bolts say they provide real hands-on training with no fluff. Jim, welcome to RadioAMB.
Oh, thanks, Patty. That was a great introduction. Thank you very much. Sometimes you've got to be reminded of all that stuff.
That's right. That's right. Jim, I know your journey into the beauty industry didn't start here in the U.S., so tell us where you came from and how your career in beauty got started.
Certainly, I'd be delighted to. You can tell by my deep southern accent that it certainly wasn't in the U.S. It was a wee bit further east in Scotland, and it started about 40 years ago, believe it or not. It's just amazing how time flies. Mm-hmm. But I actually was an electrician. I was nothing to do with the hairdressing world. An electrician, and 19 and 20-year-old, really making a lot of money, and had my own car, lots of clothes, and having a great time. And suddenly I met this beautiful young lady who I met on a bus going to college, and found out that she actually was making more money than me, and I couldn't figure this out. So I asked her, what do you do for a living? And she says, I'm a hairdresser. I said, are you kidding me? I'm an electrician. I'm earning great money, and you're a hairdresser, and you're making a lot more than I am. So that made me pay a lot of attention to the industry at that time, and I did the right thing at that point. I married her. And we actually had 3 amazing children, but I got involved in the business at that time and learned it from traveling and selling and products, and we ended up with 5 salons and 64 staff. And there's so many wonderful things attached to that when managing that amount of people, then unless you really knew what you were talking about, you didn't get the respect that you needed to be a true leader. So I actually went back to school and became a hairdresser and worked behind the chair so that I totally understood the whole magic of the business. And from the hairdresser's point of view, walking a mile in their shoes, and what a change that made. I really saw the depth and the troubles and the tribulations and the successes that they faced every day. And that was a huge advantage, becoming a hairdresser. And I learned so much about people and leadership that it was terrific. And my one great memory there is with 5 different salons, and we were working with Wella at that time, and we were the biggest purchasers of Wella in the country. And that my biggest satisfaction was that the 2 biggest overheads in any business is payroll and rent. And for the last 5 to 6 years of the company, the salons, is that we never paid any rent because I paid my rent with retail. Mm-hmm. So we were actually, doing a tremendous job with retail, not from forcing people to buy, but educating people why they needed it. And, it was a great learning experience at that time. But being able to have no rent and pay it all with retail, and my staff was on board with it. It wasn't like I was forcing them at that particular time to do it. It was just customer service at its best. Right.
And Jim, let's go back, because when you started the story and you talked about meeting your wife and that she made more money, dissect that a little bit. What was it that she was doing that really turned you on and sort of served as the foundation to you going on and buying or opening up 5 salons and employing that many people?
Well, she was actually doing things that you would think most salons and hairdressers and estheticians would do if they wanted to be successful. They were adding added value services that nobody else was doing. It was simple things like going to greet their clients and shaking their hand, looking them eye to eye, and giving them real confidence and whether they selected the right person to do their service. Then actually doing what we ultimately we did with Aveda as well, Patty, because we did the consultation, we did the 2-minute, 3-minute neck and shoulder stress relieving treatment, we did the touch-up makeup, all of the things that a lot of salons to this day are not doing, and they wonder why they're not making a good income. Right. But it was extreme, I would call it, certainly then, great 5-star customer service that she was actually giving every day with every client, every time. And the clients not only appreciated it, but they actually, not only did she made such a lot of money on tips, I couldn't believe it, just because of the customer service attitude.
And isn't that true? I mean, even today, you hit it right on the head. I mean, it's one thing is the technical part of it, but the other aspect of it is that experience that customers have. And how often do our listeners who are listening to us today go into a salon situation and their name is called at the back of from the back of the salon, hey, come on back, or your 10 o'clock is here, and that is it's not something that makes the experience memorable.
No, it definitely doesn't, and I'm going back quite a bit of time now, and even then there was not very many salons or spas that actually went the extra mile, and that's what made us stand out more than anything else. And there was a certain pride in how you treated your client, and the clients felt that we had in many cases we had up to 6 to 9 months waiting list to get your hair done in the salons. And what we did, we allocated this is a very important part of our success, we allocated half a day every week, and the staff were paid to come in and do extra training. Now that extra training wasn't just in how to cut hair or color hair. It was on customer service and how to get better at customer service, and bringing the whole salons, the teams, and be part of the decision making and come up with their ideas. So they took a wee bit control and how we could be the best in the city. So they felt pretty proud about their coming to work in the morning.
So the staff felt really empowered to be part of making those solutions as well.
Yeah, very important, and I learned that the hard way because I used to go around the salons and say, well, how much retail have you done, how much service dollars have you done, and until one of my top people said, wait a minute, Jim, you're sounding like a little Hitler here. What did you do last week? What was your retail numbers? What was your service dollars? And I kind of reflected very quickly and said, well, that's nothing to do with it. It's all about you, not me. Mm-hmm. And then I went home and realized that I wasn't retailing and I wasn't really doing the service dollars that I was asking my people to do. So I had a real good big meeting that day. That was a big, awesome, come to Jesus kind of thing and say, hey, I'm really sorry, guys. Let's put a plan together and work together on this, and I'm part of it. I'm part of you guys. So it was a really huge awakening for me to realize that don't ask somebody to do something that you can't do yourself.
Right.
And that was a huge moment.
And it was such a pivotal point as a leader to really know that if you want to lead people, you've got to lead through a great example. So, Jim, what was the transition that made you obviously you had a successful business in Scotland. What made you decide to come to the United States?
Well, you're right, Patty. It was a huge decision, and I remember I was 39 years old, mm-hmm. and I said to myself, we'd been to California a couple of times on vacation, and I absolutely loved it. Of course, the weather was a big part of it,
right.
Coming from Scotland, and we sat down as a family, and my children were pretty young, and sat down as a family and said, well, look, if we don't do this before, we're 40 years old, we'll probably never do it. Mm-hmm. So we took a leap of faith, and we came here, and we were very concerned about the children not really fitting in or taking to it very quickly. They became very much Americans. But actually, let me correct that. We didn't come to America. We actually came to California. There's a whole big difference there. California is not like the rest of America. Uh-huh. But the kids fitted in well. I didn't really do anything. I wanted to spend the second part of my life really doing what I love to do, whatever that may be, and it may be something different of what we did in Scotland. Mm-hmm. So we actually opened a salon here after a year, and my wife actually worked in that, and I actually went into consulting because I was getting asked by a few top salons actually on the West Coast here to help them with various different things. Mm-hmm. And I found that I absolutely enjoyed that so much, and I learned so much. And I managed to work with some of the best names, James Morrison, with Tony Guy, Stephen Moody with Sassoon, the whole Aveda team, and Irvin Rusk, and all the big names. I put a strategy together that if I was going to work with anybody, it had to be the best people in the country or in the industry, and that included Aveda, it included you, Patty, and Caesar. So that's how I started off here. Working with distributors and the top names in the country.
And really, we'll talk a little bit more in the rest of the show about the rest is history, because today you've got this wonderful business where you are continuing to make that kind of impact. But let's talk a little bit further about the personal journey, because I think our listeners love hearing the various different pathways that people come into our industry. Tell us what was the hardest part of taking that leap of faith? To sell your successful business there and come to California?
Oh, that's a great question, because I think no matter who it is, I think if you recognize where you are and where you came from and what you've managed to achieve, you know that standing still doesn't really do anything. And that is, as easy as that is to say, it's very hard to actually put into practice. One of my favorite sayings, Barry, is what got you here will not get you there. And I've got it stuck up on my computer, and I post it every day. What got you here will not get you there. And what that really means, of course, is that, you can't stand still in this industry. You've got to constantly be doing something different. And if you can combine that with working at something and with people that you really love and enjoy every single day, and you don't have to feel like you drag yourself out of bed every morning, then there's something pretty special about that. Then you never, as they say, you'll never work another day in your life.
Right.
And I feel like that. I feel very blessed that I've found the arena that I like to work in, and I'm with the people I like to work with. I feel very, very blessed. But it wasn't as big a leap of faith as I thought it was. And initially, I was more worried about my family than I was about being able to get some work or enjoy what I do. So it was, and the family just took to it like duck to water. So it was nothing. It was overcome very, very quickly, and I realized it was the best decision. And I've been here for nearly 30 years now, and I haven't regretted 1 minute of it, and neither has my family.
Right. And what do you think, as a business owner, and you're constantly advising business owners, what are some of the things that you do personally to have that clarity, to know, how to find that thing that you're really passionate about? You and I share that common denominator in that, I don't feel like people ask me, when are you going to retire? I retire from what? I love what I do. So many people struggle at that discovery process. What do you tell people as far as how to find that?
Well, it's funny that you should ask that. I get asked that nearly every school I go to, every group of people I talk to. I'm actually going up to do a graduation speech up in Seattle next week, and it's a three-school chain, and there's going to be more than 800 students and friends at this thing. And the reason I bring that up is that last time I did it for them a few years ago, I got inundated by parents after it asking questions. And one of the things that came up, and does still come up and many times, is what's the difference now? Our kids don't seem to care as much, or they don't put as much effort into something, or they seem to want to take shortcuts. They believe that they should be getting paid a lot of money as soon as they graduate. All of these kind of questions. And my answer is really pretty simple, and I really, in nuts and bolts, we teach this in the classroom and to the teachers, is that there has to be, the future will go on and things will change. That is an absolute. But there has to be core values, no matter what anybody says. And if you bring it, it's the same as bringing your children up. They can go any place in the world as long as they have some. We teach 8 core values in nuts and bolts in the training and to these students. And quite frankly, if you've got solid core values, you can do anything you like. And that's my answer to a lot of the challenges. I think that the industry, not just our industry, it's just in general, that we're losing a lot of core values.
And give us an example of a core value.
A very simple one and very easy one to understand is respect. I visit probably all over the world. I've visited schools that the students have different levels of respect. For instance, respect being one of the most important core values. But some of the schools, even in this country, when I walk in, if they've not got good education, and it's not soft skills. We talk a lot about soft skills. I don't like that phrase. It's success skills, we call it. That's our terminology in nuts and bolts. Soft skills kind of tone down how important the business skills are. But when I walk in, I'll see some of these schools, their feet's up on their station, and they're chewing gum when they're doing a client's hair. They talk to each other while they're doing clients' hair, and they do things that they don't clean up after them. They don't say thank you as much as they should. the very simple core values of appreciating how much that client is worth to them, and what their appearance, how important their appearance is, how they talk. I mean, in nuts and bolts, Barry, we actually teach vocabulary. We teach vocabulary to students, and a lot of people say, why would you do that? That's kind of redundant. And what we found out the years of working in the industry, our students are needing desperately to talk properly. And so we teach vocabulary, and if they want to be as professional as they say they want to be, then we need to actually talk professional and dress professional and be respectful for the client. That client, if they're looking down the line, if they're looking for a nice home, nice car, nice clothes, and nice vacations, and even I have the financial with have a good college degree for their children, who's going to pay for that?
Right.
It's going to be the client.
Right.
That client is going to pay for all of that. So I think a little bit of respect is really something that we need to be focusing a lot more on. The core values are, I think, what's missing in many respects.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll learn a little bit more about some of those problems that the industry is facing at this time. Don't go away.
Over here. Here's a secret for a virus-free computer. ESET. They've been a pioneer in the antivirus industry for over 25 years. 25 years of innovative, top-rated antivirus protection. ESET's award-winning security solutions provide a safe online experience for over 100 million home and business computer owners. They are so affordable, fast, and simple to use. So be gone, you blue screen of death. ESET's on my computer. If it's not on yours, visit HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on ESET now.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
What does HealthyLife.net and Amazon.com have in common? Well, they're both available on the Internet. They both give great value. But most important, most of our positive program hosts and guests are accomplished authors, and their books are available from, you got it, Amazon.com. Now, it even gets better than that, because when you're listening on air to a HealthyLife.net host or guest, you can go directly to Amazon.com, and you can order your book while you're still listening to your favorite HealthyLife.net program. So when you hear an author you like, go to the homepage of HealthyLife.net and click on Amazon.com.
Where positive people and radio unite. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. You're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm Patty Schmucker, and we're here with Jim Yates of Nuts and Bolts Training for the segment we call In the Jar. Jim, your jar is the training solutions for the professional salon and schools. Tell us a little bit about the current conditions that are going on in the beauty industry.
Well, there's so many of them, but there are some real important ones that I think we could actually nail. And the industry is still, I believe anyway, there's not a lot of people in the industry who actually have a proper plan of how to get their goals. I mean, in fact, having goals, I don't know if there's still a lot of hairdressers or estheticians out there who actually set goals. So one of the things that we actually like to do is to help them create a plan and a strategy of what they want and how to get it. Now, that sounds really simple, and it actually is pretty simple, because when we do classes or clinics or workshops with hairdressers or estheticians out there, and we do consulting, we still do consulting with salons and spas. It's not just schools, but when we're doing this, they actually come up with, when I ask them what do you really want, a lot of them don't even know what they really want.
Right.
And then if they do say, in fact, if we've asked many school students, what would you like to earn in your first year after graduation, it will range anything from $20,000 to $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really way out there. People, they don't have, so a reality check needs to be put into place, and some kind of plan and a strategy of how to get what they want to achieve. That's what I think is missing. There's no plan, there's no strategy of doing that.
Now, do you come up against people who have come into the industry mainly because they are more creatively oriented? It's an art form. It's about serving and helping. If that's the motivation, how willing and open are they to the idea of, hey, this is a career and something that you do need to have a plan?
Great question, Patty, and quite honestly, that's what we push here, is that this is a career, and this is probably the best industry, the best thing I've ever done in my life is to get into this industry. It's been the most wonderful experience for me. It's given me much more than I ever anticipated in this world, and I'm not just talking about financial success. I'm talking about experiences with different people in different parts of the world. You can do so many different things in this industry, but I think that a lot of the people in our industry don't realize that. But if you only want to work 2 days a week and earn X amount of dollars, you can do that. If you want to be a stage performer, you can do that. If you want to go in the movies and do makeup, you can do that. Mm-hmm. There's no limit at all on what we can do in this industry. It's phenomenal. So when I see somebody or talk to some people and say they're bored, it really blows my mind away.
Right.
If they're bored, there's something seriously wrong with them, and they're really not doing the job properly either. So when we talk to service providers in the beauty industry, we target right in there. What do you want? Just whatever that is. Be honest with yourself, and then have a plan of action to go into it. As a matter of fact, my first consultant job was given to me from Caesar.
Right.
And it was he called me up. He said, Jim, I'd like to meet this lovely couple. They want to get into the beauty industry. He's a great hairdresser, and he's getting married to this beautiful young lady, and they're so enthusiastic. I just love you to meet them. And funnily enough, you're interviewing him next week or next month, Billy Yamaguchi.
Right.
And Billy, I was introduced to Billy and Melissa Yamaguchi way back then, and they didn't even have a salon. And what we did, said, well, that's exactly what we did. What do you want? And here's how you're going to get there. And we put a plan and strategy together. And anybody that knows the Yamaguchis today will tell you that they're one of the most successful, and not just successful, but the most wonderful family. And it is a family, too, because Patricia, Melissa's mom's involved, and so is Billy's mom. It's a family and a very, very successful business. But putting a plan together with them, and then them actually putting the plan into action, which is the hard part,
right.
And then being consistent and focused and disciplined to make it work. That's the key. And there's not a lot of people willing, I don't think, to do that. If only they realized the benefits coming, not just financial benefits, but the personal fulfillment and success that comes from that.
And you mentioned this. You've said this a couple of times, and I want to touch on it, and it's this concept of consistency. Because it's one thing to identify what you love to do. It's another to develop a plan, identify what you want as a result of it. It's develop the plan and put the plan in work. But you mentioned it early in the experience your wife had, that part of her success was doing the excellent customer service, but doing it every single time. But people lose momentum. What do you do to help people continue to be consistent?
Yeah, You're asking some great questions, Patty. I'm no joking. You hit it right in the nail, because the consistency is one of the hardest things to do. Mm-hmm. And so when we actually go into schools, and that was one of the reasons we actually started to look at schools and said, if we're going to make a difference in the industry, it has to start in a school. And if it starts in a school, it has to start with the teachers, not the students. So when we looked at the teachers and decided that, students copy teachers. Mm-hmm. They copy good habits and they copy bad habits. And we were finding a lot of teachers had bad habits, so the students were getting away with an awful lot of things, and there was no consistency in delivering customer service or anything else in some of these schools. So the consistency comes from learning the habits. And you can learn this. It's very, very simple. It's like smoking's a habit, mm-hmm. but once you get, it's a bad habit. Mm-hmm. But you can develop. Notice that you've got to develop a system where you actually acknowledge that things are bad habits, mm-hmm. stop them, and replace them with good habits. And that's what we teach. Take out the bad habits, replace them with good habits, and do them with every client, every day, every time, until it becomes a habit. You won't have to think about it. So that consistency comes from habitually doing the good things with every client, every day, every time. It becomes the culture of that salon or that stylist or that service provider.
Great. All right, well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we are going to talk a little bit more about beauty that's soul deep. We're going to talk about soft skills that are critical to beauty professional success. You'll learn why Nuts and Bolts calls these skills success skills. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need, from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. EarthChannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to EarthChannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap steak. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
Radio your way. HealthyLife.net.
Welcome back. back. You're listening to RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. I'm your host, Patty Schmucker, and I'm here with Jim Yates, President and CEO of Nuts and Bolts Training. Jim, let's talk success skills. What do you define as success skills?
Well, actually, it's not nearly as difficult as people think. When you look at the people in our industry who are incredibly successful, and then you look at the people who are not, particularly, I mean, I know so many people in this industry that they're just technically, they are tremendous technicians, great hair cutters, great skincare specialists, great colorists, and they have not got two pennies to rub together. Mm-hmm. And this is just a very sad truth. And but then I look at the most successful people, and they're still good at their technical skills. But what are they doing different that's making them successful? And it's success tools. It's these success tools that we need to be actually focusing on more. And it's just so easy to do. And that's the hard part for me to understand. And I get kind of frustrated when people ask me, why can't I make more money? Well, let me just break this down for you. How do you feel about your clients? How important are they to you? What do you do above and beyond what everybody else does? If you took a salon or a stylist or an esthetician, they charge $20 for a haircut, for instance, and then 2 blocks down the road there's another salon there, and they charge $100 for the same bob haircut. What's the difference? Mm-hmm. And just simply go in and look and feel the difference. Mm-hmm. Because it's nothing to do with the bob haircut. It's to do with the ambience, it's that feeling, it's that customer service. How do you feel when you come in? How do you feel during the visit? And how do you feel after it? How are you treated when you're there? Mm-hmm. That's the difference.
Right. And so those are what you're looking at in terms of the success skills that your wife had instinctually, and she really built her success and her career early on.
Yeah, she worked for a very, very, very prestigious salon chain in Scotland, and she became one of the top stylists, and they were trained very well. I'll never forget it, because one of the things that blew my mind away, first time I got my hair done from her, and that was when I realized that what customer service was really all about, is when the client was taken back to the back basin, the shampooed from the back, that before they actually, before they dressed them, they got dressed up and put a gown on them, they had a sit-down chat with them about their career, their job, their family, and what they'd like to get out of today's visit, and it only took a few minutes. Then they put the gown on and the towel. And then the towel, there was essential oils. Way back then, Patty, essential oils like lavender on the towel that you around your neck. And I thought, wow, this is an incredible experience. This is before they did anything to my hair. Right. And then put my head back in the bowl, and before she even put the water on, there was double bristle brushes. Think about this. Double bristle brushes. And she brushed my scalp and hair up and down all over, and I was sleeping by the time she finished. It was absolutely magnificent. Right. And this is nothing to do with the haircut. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's about transforming that experience. And for consumers, as they're, when we've talked about this many times on the show before, as consumers, you have the ability to help the salon professionals make choices when you go to a place and it's not clean, or you don't get those kinds of experiences. Shop around, because there are places where you can get this kind of experience. Jim is one of those people providing those solutions, but shop around and expect that your salon professional is going to take the time to give you that consultation. That consultation is what sets up the entire experience for the consumer. So, Jim, what are some of the ways in which you help to really get the young professionals? I know you said the instructors are key because they're the example setters, but in terms of if someone, these kinds of skills don't come instinctually to them, what are some of the things that you're doing in the training that help develop this type of awareness? Well, what I still find to this day, was that hairdressers or salon owners, should I say, or spa owners are still coming to me and saying, Jim, this is ridiculous. We get graduates coming from these schools all over the country, and once they come here, we hire them. It's like they have to go back to school for 6 months to a year. We have to retrain them in this, that, and the next thing, and that breaks my heart because at the end of the day, that student has borrowed money from the government or from anybody else that they have to pay back. Mm-hmm. And this is a loan. It's a lot of money. But not only is it a lot of money that they've borrowed, it's actually the best part of either ranges from 1,200 hours up to 2,700 or 2,800 hours of their time. So this is a big investment for them. And I believe that a school should be able to produce a salon spa-ready graduate much better than they've been doing in the past. And so the salons and spas have been asking desperately, and still are, by the way, for a better standard of graduate to come out so that they can start actually helping the business make money and increase the teamwork and everything in their salons and spas. So that's what we actually do, and we've been incredibly successful by producing a better quality of graduate. And our graduates are hired very, very quickly. Some of them are hired before they finish. And one of the things that we instill, one of the ways we instill these good habits is that we have a customer service checklist. And I don't know if you remember, Patty, I'm a big fan of checklists. Mm-hmm. There's a 7-point checklist that every student has to go through with every client every day, every time. And ultimately, they don't need it because they say it and do it without even thinking.
So another habit-building activity, replacing bad habits with good habits. What are some of the things on that checklist?
Well, it basically starts from as soon as that client comes in, they've got to go up and give a double handshake to that client. And this may sound very simple, but a double handshake means far more than a single handshake. And there's a lot more confidence behind it. And then there's the consultation. We actually write down the consultation questions that they ask. They learn what we call ALA, ask, listen, and act. So if you remember, Patty, when we were teaching your sales team to go in and be the best they could, better than that, they had to ask, listen, and act what the customers wanted and stop selling them product. Once they found out what the customers needed, then they could help them.
Right. And this is really at the core of what, as a consumer, you really need and want to have, and that is someone who's going to be attentive to what your needs are. The only way that can happen is if you have somebody that's asking those asking questions, listening, and then building the solution or service based on what they've learned from you. So, Jim, that's an important part. We're going to take another break, and when we return, we're going to go into our Beauty Biz segment where we'll talk to those of you who are salon owners or school owners or maybe someday want to be. And we're going to get Jim's perspective on what's required for a successful business and where he sees the industry heading. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easier for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com.
When you're looking for bedding, department store prices can shock you. Well, be shocked no more. Sell steak cheap, not cheap state. That's the motto of Anna's Linens. Although they don't sell steak, they do sell the best bedding, bath, and home decor items. They strive to provide their merchandise at extreme value to their customers, and they do it. Great everyday prices on everything and military discounts. Plus, if you visit them online, they have clearance items and internet specials. Visit them online now at HealthyLife.net's advertiser page.
We're looking for a few good American beauty manufacturers who want to increase their brand in an exclusive credentialed category. If you're an American company who has conceived, designed, and bottled brands that are all about pretty, then we're pretty sure we're talking about you. And we're pretty sure you should be on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. This beauty website focuses on entrepreneurs and beauty startups as well as established brands. If it's pretty, we want to see it, and we want to sell it on AmericanMadeBeauty.com. To learn how you can be part of AmericanMadeBeauty.com, visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com now.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
To RadioAMB, where we share the secrets behind the making of health and beauty products. Our program sponsor is Free Your Mane, and you can find Free Your Mane at freeyourmane.com or at Anthropology stores. I'm Patty Schmucker, and we're here with Jim Yates, President and CEO of Nuts and Bolts Training. In the Beauty Biz segment, let's talk to the portion of our audience who are salon owners or school owners or someday want to own a salon and school. Jim, tell us a little bit about your perspective of what does a business owner need in order to have a successful business?
Another good question, Patty, because I think a lot of people in our industry just jump in their both feet and they don't have a plan of how to actually make it successful. One of our school owners in Canada was a principal in a regular college, nothing to do with the beauty industry. And I remember when he came, he's now got school, him and his wife got a tremendous school in Alberta, Canada. And I remember sitting down with him, and he could not believe the lack of education in our salons and our spas. Now, I do know a lot of salons and spas have regular technical education. It's either paid for by the staff or the distributor pays for it and delivers it. There's all sorts of ways that have been around for 100 years. But my advice to anyone who wants to have a successful business, and this is actually in any business, but apart from, we're talking about the beauty industry right now, but if the salon owners out there or wannabe salon owners or spa owners out there listening, my advice is really very, very simple here. There are core success skills that every good business needs to learn, and most of it's to do with customer service. So you've always got to have your technical skills updated. There's no doubt about that. But I wrote a book a few years ago called The Urgency of Positive Change, Who Said Hairdressers Can't Read? And it was very successful for me because one of the areas that I found that was missing and people were afraid of change. And I'm talking about owners, managers, stylists, estheticians, manicures. They're afraid of change. Once you get in that comfort zone, very, very difficult to get out of it. So what we've developed is a structure so that you don't keep yourself in that comfort zone. So the only way to do that is by being consistent in your education in your business. And so what I advise salon owners or spa owners is that there has to be time set aside, X amount of hours. And this is what came from my friend in Canada. In any other colleges or education field, they have so much time set aside for ongoing continuous education that is not just it's how to teach, it's how to talk to the customer, it's how to develop a business, how to develop a clientele, how to keep that clientele, how to up-service that clientele, how to not upsell, up-service that clientele, how to get your average retail ticket up, how to get your average service ticket up. These are there's so many things that needs to be taught on a regular basis. And so what I advise is that there's maybe 4 hours minimum, 4 hours a week. Now, that sounds an awful lot, and a lot of salon owners will cringe and say, oh, my gosh, I can't do that. I can't afford to take my staff off the floor making money. The fact is that they can't afford not to do this.
Right.
So allocate something like 4 hours a week to some ongoing education and make a calendar out of it so that it covers a wide range of topics, not just technical skills.
Right. And you mentioned something, up-service of the client. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, everybody talks about upselling, and I don't know about you, but I cringe when I hear that word. Nobody likes to be upsold,
right?
But everybody likes to be upserviced, and so it's just common sense. But it's just part of the nuts and bolts language that we have. We don't do upselling. We teach all our people to do upservicing.
And again, it's one of those things that has the opportunity to transform the experience, because if somebody has applied those customer service skills that you're talking about to ask, listen, and act, you actually are acting on real problems that the client has. They've articulated, they've told you about it, but unless you're taking the time to really hear that, you don't have the opportunity to make a change that is deeply important to the client.
Well, Patty, I mean, it's as simple as this. If you don't know what the problem is, how can you solve it?
Right, right.
And the average client coming in that spa or salon, the service provider is chatting to them about so many other things other than what the service is in. And people get bored sitting, getting the same haircut, the same facial every day, every month, so they try somebody else. And that's how they lose their clientele. We've got to be on the cutting edge, no pun intended, of everything new that's happening out there. That's why people like Horst and Vidal were so critical to the industry. They not only bent the rules, they broke the rules in every way, and that's why they were so successful, and they had the courage to stand by it and make it happen. And I don't see a lot of that anymore, and that worries me about the industry, but that's one of the reasons I work with schools a lot, because I see some incredibly talented young people coming through the ranks that are going to make a big difference in this industry. We've got some business student. We have Business Student of the Month in each of our schools, but we also have Business Student of the Year awards, and they're huge, and we present tremendous prizes every year to these students. And some of these students have went on to open their own business, their own product lines, their own cosmetic lines. Some of them are already overseas, and I'm so delighted for them to see and feel that success.
And so where do you think we're going? Where do you think the industry is going in this last 2 minutes that we have? Where do you think we're going?
Well, it worries me a little bit in one way because there's so much independent contracting now, but you know, change is good and change is necessary. So the industry is going through a massive change right now about how to what do you want to do? Do you want to work in a salon in a team environment spirit because they're still available, or do you want to work on your own as a booth renter? Or the new thing that's taken off quite a lot is having one or two seats in a big building that you can have suites. So there's got lots of options. There always has been, but there's even more options now for everybody in the industry. But my main concern is that people don't get in that comfort zone, and they get bored. And tell you, if you have a bored hairdresser or a bored esthetician, you've got bored clients, and they're not coming back. I don't care how good you are as a technician. We need to be exciting our clients every single day.
Right, right. And again, there's so many options in our industry that really just finding the thing that you're passionate about and creating the skill set, not only technically, but by really paying attention and caring about your clients. You mentioned that earlier, that's an important part of the overall success.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a magnificent industry for getting what you want, and whatever you want. I mean, all you need to do is be very clear, get it clear in your mind. What do you want? And then put a plan together and a strategy. Get focused and disciplined, and you can make anything happen. You just need to get focused and have the discipline to actually carry it through. And you've heard me probably say this a long time ago, Patty, but the clearer the picture, the easier it is to succeed. Right. The cloudier the picture, the harder it is to succeed.
Jim, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to be here with us today, and thanks for the incredible work that you're doing for transforming the way consumers are getting their beauty services.
You're very welcome. It's not like work at all, Patty. I love it.
Thank you. Okay, well, that will do it for us today. Next week, we'll travel to another region of the world that served as an inspiration for my guest, Billy Yamaguchi. If you remember, we met Billy's wife, Melissa, on March 7th. You can go back and listen to the archives of that show, where we began to tell the story about how Billy's Japanese heritage has been incorporated into their business to bring feng shui to beauty. So don't miss us next week. Send your requests and questions and comments to requests@AmericanMadeBeauty. I'm Patty Schmucker. You can hear RadioAMB on HealthyLife.net. Thank you for listening to RadioAMB, where we think pretty is pretty important in all things in beauty.
For all your live or pre-recorded webcasting needs, come to earthchannel.com. Get your web-based message out to a select group or the whole world. It's easy. A pioneer in webcasting, earthchannel.com provides the best products and services to big corporations and government users. And now this same technology is available to you. They have the best Earthcast encoders, servers, and products to meet your technical needs. But wait, don't want to mess with technical stress? No problem. They'll do it for you. Earthchannel.com is your answer. You can use webcasting for lots of things like advertising, marketing, customer support, training, and don't forget web radio and TV. In fact, you're listening to a live Earthcast right now. So come to Earthchannel.com. Actualize your audio or video webcasting needs today. You can't beat the friendly service or the price. Call earthchannel.com at 1-800-849-8978. That's 1-800-849-8978.
Here's the thing about beauty. It's pretty. At AmericanMadeBeauty.com, we're all about the pretty, making it easy for you to find what makes your beauty shine. We have essentially everything you need, and AmericanMadeBeauty.com celebrates brands that were created right here in the U.S. of A. Imagine everything you need from the best hair, skin, and nail products to makeup and even the tools, because it's all about pretty at AmericanMadeBeauty.com. We also think you're pretty important, so visit AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Browse, buy, learn. AmericanMadeBeauty.com. Obstacle racing. You know you want to try it. Well, try Reebok's Spartan Race, the global leader in obstacle racing. With 4 different race levels, their goal is to get you up off the couch and throw you into the mud and on the trails to give you the adrenaline rush of your life. Obstacle courses are designed to test your resilience, strength, stamina, quick decision-making skills, and give you the ability to laugh in the face of adversity. Visit HealthyLife.net advertiser page and click on Spartan Race.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.